Because celebration is going on right now, I wanted to use a few products from that today. I'm going to be using the bedazzling paper just a little bit, and then we are going to make a card with the Delicate Dahlias. And we have a little bit different of a technique for using that today, but I think you'll like it. I have a piece of basic white thick cardstock. You want to use the thick when you're using it as your card base. And we are just going to be cutting this down the middle lengthwise. And that means we put it at 4 1/4 on our trimmer because our paper is 8.5 by 11 here in the United States. We're going to bring this one piece back in so we can do some scoring. So we need to take this piece in half also. So with our scoring blade, not our cutting blade, we're going to score that. And with that thick cardstock, you can go over that more than one time. And then we are going to bring this back to the 4 1/4. So that's just easy to remember, those two score lines. It's just whatever our normal paper is, half. You just do one at 5 1/2 and one at 4 1/4. And so that takes care of that. I'm going to grab my bone folder, and we are just simply going to score this in half. And I just always line up my edges and hold on to them really tight, and just bring my bone folder back across here a few times. And then we want this other fold mark to be right here. This particular fun fold is called a bookbinding fold, and it's super easy, but I just thought it was a really fun one, and it works with just about anything you want to do. If you have something you just want to try, it's a good place to kind of do some experimenting because it doesn't take a lot of time. And I need to get my nails off. I got these done for vacation, and it was the first time since pre-pandemic, and I had them do them long, and now they are growing out, they are super long. So removing those might be a project this afternoon or tomorrow. You have to use a strong adhesive for this, and the tear and tape is one of our strongest. You could even put a third piece down if you wanted to. But I actually even, at least on most of the pieces here, left it go over the side. Let's just release the backing on our tear and tape. And you will see that those little pieces that hang over, I can just go in. Now that I had something stuck on my finger, it made it dirty, but you know what? It's not going to show, so it doesn't matter. But if you have just a little bit that overhangs, it is super strong, but yet it's super light, and you can work with it really, really well. And again, we're just going to make sure that that's straight as we go through there, and we're going to give this a nice rub. And I might even give that one nice little crease there. Now, I am going to fold mine just so you can maybe see it a little bit better on camera. But that's how that folds. Isn't that really sweet? It's just a super sweet card. And we're going to change up my version just a little bit today. I'm going to move this out of the way. We are going to use our Tuxedo Black Memento ink. And I just have a little scrap piece of basic white, the regular basic white. And we're going to use our Stampin' Pierce mat to stamp on since it's photopolymer. And you know what? I just inked that. I don't like that stamp. I'm going to do it again. Just inked my stamp pad, and it might be just a little bit on the juicy side. And we're going to just do that one more time. Yes, much better. You can see the difference there. So I am just going to take a pair of scissors, And I am just going to snip this one off that we didn't use. And I'm just going to snip this one off too. And I'm just going to lay that to the side for a minute. We are going to use a sheet of pale papaya that is just from that In Color DSP, this little specialty packs that we have in the color families. And so we need 2 of these small flowers from the Dahlia set. And rather than stamping and coloring them in, we are going to just fussy cut these images out and add them to our card. And rather than have you watch through all of those little pieces, I just am going to do these. So if you want, you can cut these out around them separately, or you can just kind of start in and then cut off any excess as you go. But what you want to do is move your paper and not your scissor. You just keep your scissor, and sorry, I had to have that back there to see it for a minute. But you want to just hold your scissors still and move your paper as you are closing and opening. But really, you're not going to have to move your scissors and open them until you have quite a bit cut. These are totally fine to be just a little bit. You can have some creative license, let's just say that. You can, some people don't like a little bit on the outside. I kind of like that. I have a friend who cannot stand that. So when she fussy cuts, and that's what this is called, is just cutting it out by hand, she cuts on the black line because she does not enjoy seeing that little extra bit along the outside. But you know, even like on this with flower petals, it's okay if it's not exact, because you know, no 2 flower petals are the same. They kind of follow the rule of snowflakes in that way. You can use any of our designer series paper that you like to do some paper piecing. You might have to match one up that looks right with the image you want to use, but it's a technique we kind of forget about. I'm going to bring our card back in. Whoops. I also need to work on this sentiment. You can cut this out however you want. You could just put it on your trimmer and just kind of square it off. I just kind of like to go around it and just kind of sometimes go in or out where a letter is. Of course, these tall ones we need to work around. And this is even kind of a weird one that it mixes kind of big ones with little ones in some ways. But nothing needs to be perfect. I would avoid maybe sharp corners if you're going to do this. We'll just kind of round those edges a little bit, but that will work really nice for our card. You could use a punch, you could use a die, that works too. We'll just put these over here. We're going to bring our card in, and I'm not going to do all elements of this card online. And for some time saving, I went ahead and did some other pieces. You will see in my examples, I have several examples to show you. And some of them I put this little strip down here, and some I didn't. And these are really simple. This is just an inch strip. And you just kind of want to have that even border around there. And this is using the new Time Worn, I think Time Worn Type is the name of it. And I just took a little of that pale papaya ink and just drug it across this embossing folder before I put this basic white in there. I didn't use it on my first card. I wasn't sure I was going to like it, but I thought, you know what, I have this piece cut already. Let's not waste it. Let's use it and see if we like it with this card. So let's put our... I probably should really be using some liquid adhesive, but I forgot to bring that over here with me. So we're just going to use the tape runner. I am sure it will be fine. You can pick up a few words on this, so you do want to keep in mind of the direction you want it to be pointing up. On some of our folders, it really doesn't matter. Because this one, you can see it. We are going to take the time to put it the right way. I'm going to turn mine this way. That way I can kind of look at these three sides. And this large piece of pale papaya is 4 inches, and then I just took a 1/4 inch off each side on this one. I actually want to bring my trimmer back in for a quick minute. And we have our bedazzled paper. And I just want to, I'm just going to measure on this side because I just want a 1/2 inch. Sorry, wasn't paying attention there. Just want a 1/2 inch strip. And see how nicely that cut? No problem at all. And I am going to come and maybe just not quite, 4 inches, but not quite 3 3/4 either. We may end up cutting a little piece off this. We'll just see how it falls. I have our banners pick punch, and we can just put it in. You can pick whichever side you'd like. We have lots of options with these kind of punches. And look, see, it punches fine too. And nothing, no glitter falls out. It's great. And this is not going to be a real in-your-face card. Just because you use some gold on a card does not mean that it's just all in your face all the time. Okay, it took time to grab my liquid glue. I felt that for this, on top of this was better. And I don't want a gluey mess, so we're going to try not to overdo the glue. And we're just eyeballing things here. Nothing is set in stone. We're going to line this up, and we're just going to, make that as straight as we feel that it is. And if you have it lined up over here, it should be straight. And that's just going to be in the background, but that nice gold and that sparkle just kind of perks it up a little bit. And I'm just going to kind of lay things out and figure out where I want things. Of course, I kind of have an idea because I've done this before, but I do advise if you're going to, especially florals, you kind of want to figure them out of how you have some things. Make sure that sentiment's going to fit where I want it. We could even really change it up and put it at the top. But I think I want it at the bottom. We'll just scooch some things over just to make sure we have that room there. I think that I like that situation. And I'm going to go ahead and use this liquid glue since I brought it over. We'll just be careful not to make a mess, but it is going to be the best adhesive for this job. Sometimes we just have to deal with it because you don't want somebody getting your card and having it fall apart. That would not be successful. So I like to start with the leaves, and I kind of don't want them to be exactly the same, pointing different, you know, the same way. Just I don't want it real to look like a pattern. So we're going to put this one a little bit more towards the top and even peeking out over that layer just a little tiny bit. I think I like that. Let's then take our large dahlia and let's put some dimensionals on it. And I don't want any saggy places, so we've given it quite a few. There we go. And I am also going to put just a hint of some liquid adhesive on this so that I have a little bit of wiggle room. And let's see, I kind of feel like this is the correct direction for this. So I am, and we remembered that we want it, I'm gonna maybe put this back up here. I want to kind of keep that in mind. I'm going to put it a little bit more towards this side. Super. Let's go ahead and just put, well, yeah, we can go ahead and put that down. Did a different sentiment on my other card, so in the spirit of changing things up, decided to do a different greeting. And I just want to tuck this one kind of under here, but still peeking out, and I want it to kind of touch these leaves. And then this one, we're going to put just one dimensional in the center. A little bit of glue. And let's just kind of figure out here where we want this one to go. Kind of like it right there. That way these don't look like this and these don't necessarily look exactly like that. That was kind of what I was going for. Decided I wanted to try a different ribbon on mine as well. You don't have to use a ribbon. I just think that it's really a fun little touch. I love ribbon and I want to use it at any point I can. I am going to have a little wrinkle in this ribbon, so I'm just going to kind of work around that. Now, you can also take a little punch or your scissors and make a little indentation in here if it bothers you that you feel like your ribbon is going to slip. I don't usually do that. I did that with one of my examples because it was a really fine ribbon. But we're just going to do this. And I know I've cut some extra. Let's scoot this way so you can see it better. And I can put a glue dot on this after we're done and hold it in place as well. I just kind of want this not to bend, so I just kind of take my time and manipulate that ribbon the way that I want it to be. And like I say, with my nails right now, I am challenged. I know you are only supposed to pull on one hand, and I did it with both. But I think we're good. We're just going to slide this. And that's the other reason I don't do that on the side, because I like to have the ability to slide things where I need them to be. And we could also take our tear and tape and put a little piece of that underneath. We're just going to use a glue dot. And since this is a big ribbon, we don't even really have to manipulate that glue dot very much at all so that it's hiding. But I just put it right about where that comes out. And then, like I say, we can just take a little time. You can figure out if it's better if we turn it. Every ribbon works a little bit differently. Some are definitely more of a front and back situation. You know, they're all just a little bit different. So I like that. And I'm just going to trim those edges. And it does tend to fray just a tiny bit, this ribbon, this pale papaya ribbon. So make sure you cut it diagonally so that it's not going to take off from your card. Isn't that super cute? And we could be done with it just like it is, but I still have some of the pack of this, these in color jewels. And I think that it's kind of fun to make them as the centers of our flowers. So let's see, we have 2 pale papayas. And we are just going to put that right there. And you know what? That jiggles and wiggles a little bit. We forget that our glue dots are a great adhesive. You know, sometimes we think it's just for sticking a little something on, but if you have little bits and pieces, then you can use some glue dots. Somebody also mentioned they like that as their adhesive anyway. They use that while they travel. And I thought, well, that's a great idea. They said, you know, it's not messy. You can even work in the car putting things together if you're using that. So I thought, well, that was kind of a fun idea. And I like the large ones for the center. Let's do an evening evergreen in here. And let's do a polished pink. And then let's do a soft succulent. I just thought if we tried this one with this inked background, it might break up some of the white, and I do like it, and I'm happy that I tried it. Here's the original version. And so this one I used soft succulent over here. This one I used the pale papaya. This is sheer. This is a more braided type trim. Use different sentiments. This I stamped in color. This one I did in the black since we used that on these images. So I like both aspects. I like both of those cards. Now this one, I didn't take time here, but I did decorate the inside of this card. And I'm happy with both of them. They're just different, and I like them both. This was the first card I made. It is so basic, but you know what? It's still a lovely card. We get hung up so many times on, is it, you know, for an avid crafter or whatnot, or, you know, I just can't ask somebody to make this card because it's boring. And I don't find this boring at all. This is part of Celebration. This is one of our papers. These are the snowflakes. I believe this is from the Wonder and Whimsy and Wonder. I don't know all my names yet. I believe that's the suite that is from. Just a little stamp. That's from the gingerbread kit. This is from the Pets combo pack. And it's just, I need to do the inside of my card here. But I thought that was just a really nice, crisp, lovely card, even though it was simple. This is just a nice card that uses some very vanilla, and I love very vanilla, and I don't get to use it very often. So I thought, oh, you know what? I am going to break that out. And this is from the Simply Elegant suite of products, the DSP. And this trim is from the Nature's Harvest, I think is what it's called. It's in the new holiday catalog. It's one of the fall suites of products, but I love, love, love that trim. And then I just did the inside, just a little strip that I had cut off here to take it from 4 inches to 3 3/4 inches. So that's, I just put it right inside that card. I love that one too. And this card uses some more of that bedazzled paper here on the side. Again, that Simply Elegant DSP. I embossed this gold, stamped this in basic gray. This is the gold shimmer ribbon, and these are some pieces from the ephemera pack. So I popped this tag up. This is the punch that goes with that suite of products. And I thought, what a great like golden wedding anniversary card is kind of what I was thinking. We've got the gold, and even though this is maybe even a little bit more of a copper, it mixes in well with this. And then I just put the greeting and this stamp on the inside. This stamps so beautifully. I really like that. And so these are all of our cards that are all using that little bookbinding fun fold. And you can just use it for any occasion, any paper, any images. It just works. And it's really uncomplicated. And sometimes that's just what we're looking for. As always, remember to be kind, send a card, and do something creative. Bye-bye.